When dozens of families woke to find their car tyres deflated, a bizarre note explained why. It was the work of climate activists who want gas guzzlers gone. Now, we wouldn't normally give these extreme protesters airtime, but they've issued a warning about a national campaign targeting potentially thousands of cars. And yours could be next.
The time for being gentle is past.
They're climate crusaders who say they're unleashing a new wave of mayhem. Have you been to jail before?
We need to be escalating.
And they could be coming to a suburb near you.
You have to break the law in order to change things for the better.
They call themselves the Tyre Extinguishers, a global fringe group waging war on family SUVs. Just over a week ago, they arrived in Australia and say they hit one of Melbourne's richest suburbs, Toorak.
Could be a syndicate. We're unaware at this time.
Dozens of vehicles targeted, their tyres deflated. These notes were left behind, warning owners their gas guzzler kills. How many more tyres will be deflated?
I would hope many.
Hundreds, thousands?
Hopefully, yeah.
We first made contact with the activists about a week ago, and they've been communicating with us since by calling from payphones. They finally agreed to meet us at a secret city location on one condition: we conceal their identities.
It's vigilantes that I'm worried about. It's about being targeted by members of the public at this point. It's not about the police, actually.
This woman, who calls herself Pearl, says she's an academic with a master's degree. She's also a grandma.
It's quite unusual for a woman in her 60s to probably do something like this.
How many cars roughly did you target that night?
It was a couple of dozen or so.
Her associate, Pat, is a young working professional.
I see it as a wake-up call. I wish it could be more gentle.
I've never done anything like this. I've never been arrested for something like this. I'm a completely non-violent person, but I am extremely worried about the climate crisis.
Pearl and Pat haven't given us their real names. What was going through your head when you're out there in Toorak and you're letting these tyres down?
I was pretty scared. I was quite concerned that somebody might come out and attack us. But at the same time, I was thinking, if one or two people read that pamphlet and can understand where we were coming from and they change their car, then it'll have been worth the effort.
That night, the group claims to have hit up to 30 cars. What about people who might have had to have left home in an emergency, a medical emergency, fleeing domestic violence? What do they do if they run outside and they can't drive their cars?
In a medical emergency, you'd usually call an ambulance.
What if they're rushing to a loved one who suffered a medical emergency?
Yeah, I apologise if anybody was in that situation. I apologise for that.
People work hard for their things. What gives you the right to interfere with other people's property?
We're living in extraordinary times. We're facing a climate collapse.
But what right does that give you to interfere with people's property?
Over time in history, when laws are bad, when there's need,
But those people aren't making the laws.
it is necessary sometimes to break the law in order to see social change happen.
Pearl, Pat and they say a handful of others are now being hunted by detectives. We've alerted Victoria Police to our contact with the activists and have agreed to hand over our footage in full. Will you hand yourself into the police?
That would be something that I'd need to think about.
People caught doing this in Victoria could face jail for 2 weeks. Have you been to jail before?
No, I haven't, and I am prepared to make that personal sacrifice.
The group first popped up in the UK in March last year before spreading globally.
Several vehicles had their tires deflated.
A very bizarre note was left behind explaining why it had.
Their aim, to make it impossible to own what they call large killer cars in urban areas. We've agreed to conceal your identity. If you're willing, though, to go to such extremes for your cause, why not show your face? Why not tell Australia who you are?
Well, part of the reason why was because I will probably take this action again.
Is it because you're ashamed or embarrassed about what you
No, I'm not ashamed at all.
If the government won't regulate luxury SUVs out of existence, we can disable them. And we can keep doing that until the owners of them wake up to their responsibility in a time of crisis.
Or until you're arrested.
Or until we're arrested.
I imagine it's pretty expensive in a cost of living crisis to call out a mechanic to pump your tyres up.
Possibly. I do apologise to the people that were inconvenienced.
Are you really sorry, though, if you've promised to keep doing this?
In the sense that we are pushed to do things like this in order to get our government to do its job.
Well, everyone has the right to an opinion, but this is just vandalism. We don't know when or who their next target is, but we've told police about the footage we have.